Hello again, everyone. I'm Gene Valisanti. This is Beyond the Podium, where we go one-on-one with the candidates. State Senator Cynthia Mendes is a Democrat running for lieutenant governor. In your own words, what differentiates you from your opponents?
I am a Afro-Latina working class mom who has worked in healthcare. I know what it's like to have to work two jobs to make ends meet. And I have spent my time in the legislature not doing exactly as I was told by leadership, but really doing what I promised my constituents I would do, which was fight for them and be very, very vocal about things that I did not think would work well for Rhode Islanders.
Explain what you see as the most important issue facing Rhode Island.
The state is facing a series of crises at once. Our education system is really under a lot of stress. Our educators are under a lot of stress. And our healthcare system is continually being stressed, and our healthcare workers are being stressed, and people cannot afford healthcare. In addition to that, we are in the middle of a climate crisis. And so what Rhode Islanders want more than anything is to be able to provide for their families and put a roof over their heads, and to be able to spend time with their families once they're done working. And I think that's addressed by making sure that our education system is robust and that it's equal for no matter where you live in the state. I think it's important that we address the climate crisis boldly, and that we make sure everyone gets a livable wage, which means when you work 40 hours, you can provide for your family and then be able to spend time with your family after a full work week.
How are you uniquely qualified to address that particular issue?
So as someone who has lived as a Rhode Islander prior to being in politics and never expecting to be in politics, fully aware that I did not think the State House was working for me or families like mine. And so spending the time that I spent kind of helping neighbors, I worked with soup kitchens and mentored youth, and really spent a lot of time in the community. But then being in the state legislature, also spent time in the legislature and found out in real time that they were not working hard for Rhode Islanders. And so both what the lived experience and then also this experience in the legislature, I think taking both those experiences into the LG's office and being able to fight for Rhode Islanders, knowing I know what it feels like to be in their shoes, and also I know what it feels like to be in that building when people are not fighting for Rhode Islanders.
What's an example of a policy or issue that you've changed your mind on over the past 20 years? You felt one way about something, now you feel differently.
Well, this wouldn't be a policy necessarily. This is something that I grew up in a conservative home, and as a child, I was a minister's daughter. So, I was raised with a certain messaging around women's rights, and I'm really, really grateful for the feminists that were in my life at a very young age that were able to kind of teach me and bring me along. And that was well before I got into politics. And I don't think I would be the woman I am right now if it wasn't for the fact that I went back to school and took sociology classes, and that I had strong feminists in my life that were able to really break down women's rights for me in a very strong way. And I think that's the story of a lot of Rhode Islanders that have grown up in conservative settings and really finding out how much our reproductive rights really, really, really matter, and now more than ever.
What question do you wish someone would ask you?
I wish someone would ask me what keeps me going, what keeps me hopeful. And the thing that keeps me going and the thing that keeps me hopeful are two things. One, my daughter and youth like her that are really framing their lives around how they can make the world a better place. My daughter's an artist, and I see so many young activists kind of come out and really change their life plan to make the world a better place, whether it's to be an activist or to get involved in politics. And the other thing that keeps me going is the local candidates that are deciding to run for office, working class people, the nurses and teachers and social workers that are running with the Rhode Island Political Cooperative, who are taking time after working all day to knock doors and talk to their neighbors because they believe we can have a better Rhode Island.
Who's your political hero and why?
Bernie Sanders, for sure. Senator Bernie Sanders. He is my political hero because he has stayed so incredibly faithful to his message and to the people. He has never ever buckled to the powers that be. He's never give to special interests or big corporations. And he makes a really strong moral argument, which is really in my wheelhouse of where I come from. It's morally wrong that people work full-time jobs and can't provide for their families. It's morally wrong we don't give every child an equal quality education. And it's morally wrong that we don't address the climate crisis in meaningful ways and keep giving the polluting industry and fossil fuel industry tax breaks. And so I really, really appreciate his tenacity and steadfastness.
What's the best advice you've ever received?
To listen, and that there's always a point of connection. There's someone that you meet. There's always someone that you meet that you have something in common with. And if you spend enough time listening and enough time caring, you can find out what that is. And I found that to be true. I have not met a Rhode Islander that I could not connect with. And I think spending enough time caring and listening, we can find that out.